guys that have some of you guys who have the plan that the way you're going to study for the final exam is by not doing anything? That's not a good plan. Not a good plan at all. I can create all this stuff. I can make myself available. I'll be online. Tonight it'll be later. It'll be after the basketball game, but Tuesday night, Wednesday night, this is fourth period, so our final exam will be in here Thursday. Wednesday, I'll be online. You can email me at rthill3@gmail.com, or you can create a hangout, or you can text message me on Google Hangout. I was at the All County Banquet the other night, sitting there eating dinner. Got a text message from a student last year who remembered me doing this. She had a question on the final exam. I gave her the information. It took about 30 seconds. Answered the question for her. She got off and running on the rest of the test. I'll be here before and after school until Friday. If you have any quiz stars, when we go in there later today, print those, or excuse me, get those done for me. We're going to print a page that shows me all the stuff. We did that here before. But some of us didn't get our name on it, so I couldn't tell who's was right. And also, don't forget on USA Test Prep. Guys, if you go on USA Test Prep, you go to my webpage, there's a question of the day. You can get several questions of the day there. In my last period class, there's a word problem that we're going to solve over there, but there's also a section that has systems of equations in it. As this right here, this slide on the overhead, is from my Algebra II class. That is an Algebra II. Today, we're still trying to get a system that doesn't cross. Why would a system of equations not cross? Why would it not have a solution? Right. Has the same slope. The lines have the same slope, but they have different y-intercepts, which means they don't cross. Since they don't cross, how many solutions do they have? None. They have no solution. So it's inconsistent, guys. Parallel lines is an inconsistent system. You have to know exactly what he said back there. They have the same slope, but different y-intercepts. Eyes up here. Here's an example of an independent system. This system is independent because the lines have different slopes. Since the lines have different slopes, what do they automatically have to do? Intersect. Again, that's why these don't intersect. They have the same slope, different y-intercepts. As soon as you got different slopes, you know they intersect. Or if they have the same slope, same y-intercept, it's called a consistent and dependent system. Guys, this concept isn't going away. It's a good concept. In my last period class, here's where we were solving these problems. What I want to do for us is just remind you guys of a couple of things. And then work some of these problems, and then we'll go to lab. Real quick, as a review, here in this first equation, don't forget, guys, you can watch the videos of them on my website this afternoon. You can watch those. And after we get through tomorrow, we'll have done this whole review, or at least showing you how to work most of them. Remember, greater than or equal to is a what kind of line? Solid or dotted? Solid line. That also corresponds to brackets, or it corresponds to a closed circle. If you have greater than or less than, you use a dotted line. If you're using interval notation, that's parentheses or an open circle. There's three methods by which to solve these equations right here. I left 23, 22, and 24 for you guys in this class. And the other ones, so if you want to see these other ones solved, watch the other video. 11x minus 7y equals 14. There's one equation. And x minus 2y equals negative 4. Guys, I can look at that real quick, and I know that these two lines cross? How can I look at that right there and tell those lines cross something? Yeah, different slopes. If you remember, those of you that don't have this review out, I don't understand what it is that you're waiting on. At least let's go through the work that you should be trying to get going. One of the ways you can solve this is to take both of these equations and solve it for y. You would come up with some terrible fractions. Another thing you could do is you could take this problem right here and you could solve it for x by saying x equals, move the 2y to the other side. What method am I describing right now? Substitution. So now what am I going to take with this? What am I going to do with this 2y minus 4 right there? Plug it in for x, guys. Y'all are saying it perfect. You plug it in for x. 22y minus 44 minus 7y equals 14. When I add that to the other side, I get 58. And 22 minus 7y is 15. 15y equals 58. Well, that looks like an awful tough answer. Let's make sure we did everything right here. So I move this to the other side, and that gives me 2x. X equals 2y minus 4. 11x minus 7y. So when I plugged in 22 minus 44, add 44, that gives me 58. What? Woo, there we go. Is that better? So when I move that to the other side, this is 30. Y is 2. Okay, y equals 2, plug it in. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 4 is 0. So x equals 0. So 0, 2. Guys, 0, 2 is the point that should be able to do what? So what does it do to both equations? Solve them. Guys, that's how you know you got it right. As you know you're doing these right when you can take the equations and you take the two equations and whatever they are, guys, you add them or you plug in your solution. You plug it in. Guys, I look at the ABCD answers and I pick out the answer that I think it is, and then if I take 3x minus 6y equals 3 times that is 36. So that gives me negative 5y equals 35. Y is negative 7. Guys, negative 7 and whatever my x value is works. It means it works. So if I plug in a negative 7 right there, that gives me 14. Subtract 14 to the other side. That gives me negative 2. Guys, negative 2, negative 7 should solve both equations. Again, somehow or another we've become dependent upon me for letting you know whether or not these are right or wrong. Guys, that's not how you do it at all. At all. You don't need a teacher to tell you whether or not the point negative 2, negative 7 is the right answer. Because negative 2, negative 7 gives me 12, and negative 2, negative 7 gives me negative 1. That means this is the point where those two lines cross. Guys, again, this becomes the page that's important today. This same day that we're doing it 2 years later in Algebra 2, we're still trying to get them to get what's inconsistent, independent, or dependent. Inconsistent means no solution. These two have a solution. It's just one solution that's made up of how many coordinates? 2, and that's in a y, and they solve both equations. Here, this is two good ones that we can look at here and remind you of a couple things. Let's look. It says x minus y is less than or equal to 10. how do you graph x minus y is less than or equal to 10? What do I got to do to that first? What form is that called? So negative y is less than or equal to negative x plus 10. What's interesting about negative y? What are you going to divide it by? What are you going to divide it by? Negative 1. When you divide by a negative, guys, you can't forget to turn that symbol around. So this takes me to negative 10, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So this equation is graphed like that. Then it's greater than, so I'm going to shade above this line. Y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 2. I go to plus 2, up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. There's that line. Again, it's above, so I'm going to shade above that line. So right now, I'm above the blue line and above the red line. And then y is less than or equal to 5 is a horizontal line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a horizontal line right there. So I want the area that's above the blue line, above the red line, but below the black line. And that will be this triangle right here. Guys, that's my solution set. So a couple points. Remember, if you divide by a negative, you have to reverse the symbol. And then, guys, put down where it's shaded. Don't forget down here in number 29, here's a dotted line. Why is that dotted? Less than or greater than. Turns out, just looking at it, I'm looking at number 29, guys. I can see this dotted line must be greater than. This dotted line must be greater than. This solid line must be less than. So you just write the slope and the y-intercepts on it. It says graph the function below and identify their intercepts. X squared, and then x plus 2. There's x plus 2. Remember, to find the x-intercepts, you make y 0, so you'd make f of x 0. To find the x-intercept, you make y 0. Put y in there. 0, 0 is the x and y intercept there. Looks like 0, negative 2. 0, negative 2 is the x-intercept. 0, 2 is the y-intercept. Negative 2, 0 is the x-intercept. Anybody? All right, keep working at this, guys. If you got all of it answered, I'll take that up the day of our final. Don't forget, you want to come in and work through some of these or talk through some of the stuff, rthill3@gmail.com for C135.